Thank you, Donovan, for being here with us today. A lot of people are wondering what have you been doing and where you're from. So if you can tell us about your upbringing so we can get acquainted with you.
Sure, sure. When I was born in Jamaica, St. Catherine, in the bush, in the country, I'd say. I grew up as a country boy, but I love Jamaica. When I grew up in Jamaica, I went to a small school in Jamaica named Good Hope School. I went there for until I was 11 years old. But boxing was a part. It's like a part of me. It's like it was in my blood. I was fighting since I was in grade school. So we left to Canada. We migrated to Canada. My mother went to Canada to make a better life in Canada, which I think was a great move she made. And then I'm in Canada, going to school. I start boxing at 16. Start boxing at 16 in Canada. And I fought Lennox Lewis for the Olympic trials in 1980. I beat him for that one. And then after they boycotted the 1980 Olympics, I decided to turn pro because I didn't know what's going to happen in the next Olympics. So I turned pro and I become the heavyweight Canadian champion of Canada. And then I just start going through the numbers in the United States. Bone Crusher, Mike Weaver, Greg Page. They all bad fighters. Okay, Phil Jackson. So they are real tough fighters. So going through them it was an easy task. It was an easy task. But I love boxing, so I made it my job.
So why choose boxing? You seem to have the height to be a basketball player or even a baseball player.
Oh,
What's the drive into boxing?
first of all, I don't like team sport. I'm just being honest with you. I watch it because I give my 100%. I give my 100%, and then if I'm playing soccer and I'm scoring a goal, and he's letting the ball go through. Defense is just. I'm going forward. Defense is not doing defense. These are the things I have to deal with. So I try. I do tennis. Tennis. I used to do tennis in Canada, and then after it was getting too cold out in Canada, I had to go indoors, so I do boxing. I do the boxing. So I just love boxing. That's how I make my living.
You mentioned a little bit of your participation in the Olympic Games representing Canada
Yeah.
and such. The transition between amateur and professional, how was that for you? I know you talked a little bit about that too, but can you tell us a little bit more on how that process went on?
There was no transition. I was running the table. What I had to do was I was telling the kid out there was to build stamina because I was tired at 3, okay? But then when I start going 4, they pay me more money. Do you understand? You go 6, they get more money. You get 8, you go more money. So that give me more incentive to go 10 rounds. 10 rounds is where you start making money. But before that, you're making peanuts. You're making 20 grand, you're making 10 grand, you're making $2,000 in the beginning. You understand? But after you get they realize that you're really, people come out to see you fight. Then you draw a crowd. You can draw a crowd. It depends because they love the way you fight. And I just love. I don't like to see certain fighter fight though.
Was there a fight in particular that make you think, wow, I need to do this to get better at the sport?
No, it's just the fact that I don't want to work for nobody. Okay, that gives me the incentive to train hard and make sure I don't want to be working go slave. I think it's a slave job. Okay, just the way I feel. I told my wife when I was in Canada, I said, listen, they just slaving me. I'm leaving. I'm going to boxing. I'm going to do boxing. I was driving the truck, and when I was driving the truck and I'm looking through the windshield, I don't see no end to the road. So I took it back to the yard and gave them back their truck, and I said, I'm going back. I'm going to Florida to to pursue my boxing career. Forget, I'd rather die there than die here.
Yeah. And what has been for you retirement?
I really never did retire. I'm being honest with you. I never retired. I'm not retired. I'm not gonna punk out and give up on boxing.
Is there something that, looking back throughout all the years in your career in boxing, that you would want the kids or the new boxers coming along the ranks to remember you by?
Oh jeez, oh my! I don't really. I think what they're gonna remember me by is my punching power. I think that's it all. My punching power, because it's not the way that people knock out people. It's how I knock out people. It's a special. So I think they're gonna remember me by that. Some guys, they get stopped on the rope, they drop and they get up. These guys, they have to bring in oxygen.
And what would be your last final words to them when they're watching this video?
Well, if you are interested in boxing and you love boxing, make sure you know it's a dangerous sport and you're gonna have to put in your time, because if you do not put your time in, it's gonna take it out on you in the ring. Okay? Don't take it lightly and go in the ring in there and think that it's easy. Make sure you find out about it before you go in the ring. Explore it first, figure it out first, and then go into it. Make sure that's what you want.
Well, Donovan, that's all we have for you. We appreciate your time. Thank you for